All right, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Speak on It. We got something very interesting tonight. Um, as you see, all of us is here. Dom, Tim, one. I'm Biv. Um, you seen the last episode? We kind of ended. We went way off the rails. Um, we did. We went way off the rails. But we got into an interesting conversation about the goat of the NBA and made me think about D Wade's comments about 25, 30 years from now. Jordan is going to be forgotten. So, all three of us are Jordan is the GOAT guy. So, will Jordan always be the GOAT?
Um, in my opinion, I just think like okay, so we just piggybacking off of what D Wade said. I'm gonna address that first. I'm gonna address that.
All right.
I kind of sort of agree with what he said. Because 25, 30 years ago, I think it was maybe Oscar. Somebody might have said Oscar. Somebody might have said Dr. J. You know what I mean? Somebody might have said Magic. You know what I mean? 25, 30 years ago. So I can agree with what he said. Well, I can understand what he said. But for me, I think it's always going to be Jordan unless you know what I mean, something crazy happened. Like if LeBron get to like 8. I mean, I think
he gonna pass Kareem. Is it?
I think
if he stay healthy, he gonna pass Kareem.
Yeah. I definitely think he's gonna pass Kareem if he stay healthy. I do think that when he gets to 6, there will start to be a conversation. Like I mean, it's a conversation now, but I think people will actually start to take it serious.
He's not getting the 6.
That's I just think he'll always. I think he'll always be the GOAT. In my lifetime, I think he'll always be the GOAT because nobody's going to ever accomplish what he's accomplished. Yeah, I mean 6-0, never get into a game 7. He retired twice. Yeah, I mean, but even in his prime, he retired once. And who knows? I mean, he could have been 8-0, right? Because if we're thinking about that Houston team that won back-to-back, Jordan, that prime Jordan team, I don't think coming off in 93, I don't think that Houston team beat that team. Because even in that 94 team, right? They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Or was it the semis?
Semis, they lost
to the semis, right? They won like 50. What they won 50? They won 50 some games.
52, I believe.
You telling me if Jordan was there on that team, they don't make it to the finals?
That's that one matchup that we'll never see is the Rockets Bulls. Yeah, everybody had their chance, I think, as far as the Bulls when it came to the West, whether it be the Suns when they had Barkley, the Sonics, and the who else? Utah, of course, twice. I mean, the Blazers when they had their run in the late 80s, early 90s. But as far as that time frame, like everybody had a shot except for the Rockets when it came to the finals. They just couldn't get over that hump.
They never got there.
I mean, they didn't get over the hump. You know what I mean, bro. So 30 years ago, that would have been like what, 92?
He still was a GOAT then, right?
He's on 2 of 3. He's on 2 of 3. He was trending. He was definitely trending. I mean, he had already made his mark in the 80s, what it was. I think, man, to us, of course, in this lifetime, we watched him from childhood all the way up. And, like, we had never seen nothing like him and haven't seen nothing like him since. That man in L.A., ain't nobody seen nothing like him either. and that like really just sitting on that, like if LeBron gets Kareem's record, he overtakes that, right? And he has the assists and the rebounds that he has and whatnot. Like we can say, is 4-6 as far as the finals 4 and 6, but he got 4. And he's got some. He got what? How many MVPs?
4.
Same amount.
And 4. Like it's a pretty great argument that anyone can have as far as being on that LeBron side.
I think one of the issues. I just think for me, sorry, babe, I didn't go to mine getting control. I just think for one of the issues for me is not even just the rings, right? Because like we talked about at the end of the last show, it's not really just the rings that make you the GOAT, but it's I forget who said it, but they said when Jordan and Biv said it at the end of last show, when Jordan started to win or learn how to win, he never lost again.
Right.
And like nobody was eating on Jordan. You know what I mean? Nobody. Like nobody was getting a championship on Jordan. Like even with LeBron not making it to the finals, people was winning championships in LeBron's era. Like people were winning championships in LeBron's era. Like Steph Curry won a championship in LeBron's era.
Multiple.
The Spurs, they won a championship in LeBron's era. Dirk got his championship in LeBron's era. Like there was people that's getting championships in LeBron's era. When Jordan got in his prime, nobody was touching him. Like,
man, I mean, for me, Jordan is always going to be the GOAT unless I see something different. Like, I mean, of course, the future is unknown, but I've never seen nothing like him. I'm not going to say from start to finish, but just being a basketball historian and looking back at like the things that he did coming into the league and the evolution that he had from being in North Carolina up to being Mike Jordan to being Michael Jordan, and like at his size and whatnot. Like here's like the topper for me: the fact that he was the best scorer in the league and also the best defender in the league for years. Like that to me, if you can duplicate that, then we have a real like, okay, you know what I mean? I think both of them are in a class of their own if we're talking about LeBron and Jordan. But that right there, not too many people can say that, man, at all. And I don't think there's too many. I only think there's one.
Here's the crazy thing, right? With about when we talk about Jordan, like everybody want to talk about the assists that LeBron has and the rebounds that LeBron had. When I would start looking at Jordan numbers, I think he averaged like 5.6 or almost six assists a game. He almost averaged like six rebounds. I think averaged 6 rebounds a game. And one year I think he was 38-8. Like LeBron, he's like a lot of people say he's a pass first player. He wants to pass first. Well, Jordan wants to score first, and he still averaged 5, 6, 7, 8 assists a game. Right? If he made up his mind to be a passer,
he could be.
He could average. He can do what I believe that he can do what Russ did. If he decided that that's what he wanted to do, he can do what Russ did. He can average a triple double.
Okay.
Because listen,
not exactly what Russ did, but
no, he can average a triple double.
Average a triple double. Yeah,
he can average a triple double. I don't know about for 4 straight years, but I mean he probably could. But he can average triple double. He gave you, I think, again 38-8 in the game in the season. And I think he also won Defensive Player of the Year that year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the year before. Like, there's nothing that he cannot do. And I'm gonna say this: I wasn't the biggest Jordan fan, just like I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. But just being real, like I respect the game, and just for what he has done, and like you said, Tim, one like. He did on both ends, like guarding the best player, and not like LeBron did. Like Jordan would guard the best player. And I know that people say he had Scottie Pippen, yada yada yada, to do some of that stuff. But when Jordan wanted to take over and guard somebody for a whole half or do something like that, he can do that and shut them down. Not in the game situations.
For me, I want a whole totally different perspective. Because for me, I don't think anybody is going to accomplish what Jordan accomplished. We're going to look back at this possibly. We're either going to be old men or we're not going to be on this earth. But there's going to be there's going to be another evolution of basketball, and that evolution is where Jordan is not going to be the GOAT. The same way how we look back now and be like, yo, Wilt Chamberlain was just bigger, faster than everybody. Bill Russell didn't have no competition. All of the good players was on his team. The same way we look at that era like that, that's how people are going to look at Jordan's era. Because in my opinion, I didn't realize, I was this in research. Did y'all realize that the average height of the NBA continues to go up? Not very much, but it's going up. It's going up from 6'5", I think in the 50s, to now it's about 6'7". So eventually, we might see a point in time where it's nothing but footers on the floor.
Especially we see what Joel Embiid doing.
You feel me? So I feel like there's going to be an evolution of basketball. We see it now. We got 6'10", 6'11", 7-foot guys with like 40-inch verticals. That rim's going to get raised. It has to. It's at 10. You can't have 7-footers. They don't have to jump. They can just do that. So it's going to get raised. The court's going to get bigger. The three-point line is going to get extended. And people are going to look back and be like, ooh, Jordan? That dude was playing against guys that were 6'3". Jordan, he played on a 10-foot court. Jordan, the three-point line is like 22 feet. Because now they playing on 11-foot courts.
Right.
The three-point line is at 28. So it's that type of evolution. Because right now, with the way the NBA is right now, no one's going to get – I don't think anyone is going to get anywhere near 6-0. I don't think anyone is going to get anywhere near the number of defensive player, first team all defenses along with scoring titles consecutively. Like all the things that he's accomplished that everybody marvels at, I don't think anyone is going to do it at the way the NBA is right now, especially with the super teams and everything like that. Everybody wants to put an asterisk next to people's championships. You know what I mean? Like everybody poo-poos on what KD has done. When I hear people say Dirk's ring holds more weight than KD's two, or I'd be like, really? Wow. Why? because he beat LeBron in the super team. Like I understand that, but we're not going to sit here and say that his one ring is more than somebody else's two. But I just think that the evolution of basketball is what is going to make Jordan not the GOAT anymore at some point in time. Just because we getting athletes that are just bigger, faster, stronger, and as they get bigger, faster, stronger, they're gonna have to make adjustments to the court because you cannot have 6'11" guys continuing to play on a 10-foot court. It's not gonna be fun anymore. It's not. Think about it. Think about it right now. We're continuing to see 6'8", 6'9" point guards on a regular basis now.
And Magic was a phenomenon.
Magic was a phenomenon, and then it was Penny.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're dime a dozen. You know what I mean? You can find them almost anywhere because they are getting big. They're just better athletes now.
Yeah.
And listen, not even the 6'11s, right? But just the vertical that they got. Like John Morant 6'3". You see what he did the other day? I was like, yo, like he looking down in the rim.
Jumping out the window.
Exactly. So, but like, other than that, I don't see anybody getting close to Jordan anytime soon. I don't. Just because the super teams is watered down everybody's version of the league. I could care less about the super teams. I know. Like,
question.
What's up?
Could Jordan play in this era?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
How much you think he would average?
50. No, I'm
not gonna say.
I'm not gonna say he would
average 50.
I'm not gonna go that far. But 30. But listen, 35 easy.
Easy.
35 easy.
Nah, listen, he probably get an easy 40. Because listen, the way they call fouls now, like Jordan can drive to the basket, right? And it's not a foul. Like you drive, you get hit in this area. They going to the monitor almost on every call. Like instead of and you giving him extra possessions, like.
Yeah,
nah.
I think he would go crazy in this era. And
it's the less. There's no resistance.
Yeah, and he would probably. I think he would actually be a bigger star if he played in this era because of the way that he competes on both ends of the floor, and that's unseen. That's rare in this day. So if he was born in the 90s, I guess, or the 2000s, right? If he was born in 99, 2000,
he would have social media.
He would have social media for one, like you said, and just the fact that, like, it's rare to see both ends of the floor dominate.
I think, and that's, to me, that's what makes you an all-time great, is that you could play in any, you could play in any era.
Yeah.
To me, that's what makes you an all-time great, is because you can play. I could drop you off in 1950, and you're gonna still be the same guy in 2020.
I also think about this, right? And I know if Jordan played in this era, he would take more threes. Could you imagine?
He might average 50. He might average 50.
He would shoot threes. Now, he might shoot like 7 of them a game and hit 3 of them. That's 3 more points a night only. Like
that's boy.
Yeah, like
would LeBron? What about LeBron in Jordan's era? I'm talking about like late 80s, early 90s.
He'd be crazy, but LeBron would be a power forward. Like just that's where they would put him because of his size.
Karl Malone.
Like he got the size of Karl Malone, but their pass. See, that's tough because I don't think LeBron early on wanted to play out of the post. So I still think LeBron would be
the one.
But see, here's the thing with that. The same way you feel as though Jordan would have adjusted his game with the 3, LeBron adjusts his game for 90s basketball.
The only thing that I would think, because he came in on the tail end of like the physicality as far as the league is concerned. And I think that transition from the 80s to the 90s, as far as the fouls called, like if you look at the 70s and the fouls that wasn't called, like people getting clotheslined and DDT'd and all that, they was out there wrestling with a basketball at times. But the evolution of the referees, the calls, I think, was at like a good midpoint when it came to the 80s and 90s, because as you see, Detroit Pistons ran through the league and they roughhoused everybody. You know what I mean? So like that to me, like I'm thinking like, how would LeBron adjust his games if he were to go against the 88 or 89 Detroit Pistons when they're all keying in on him? And
I think he would have been fine. I think he would have been fine. He would have been fine.
He had to make his free throws.
I think he would have been fine. I think we have to remember, and if he was born, if he had to play in the 90s, that means he was born in the 60s, right? So that means he had to come through playing roughhouse basketball and being through all of that grooming to prepare him for the physicality of the NBA. And then
Dirt course and all.
And at 6'8", 250, I think he would have been just fine, Dylan.
But I don't think he would be. I don't think he would be as great because the ball wouldn't be in his hands as much. Like again,
the way the systems were going,
huh?
Like the way that the systems were ran and whatnot, they were ran mainly through guards.
Again,
Yeah.
now we are talking about him coming after Magic. So Magic has been the prototype already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we got another 6'8" ball handler. Maybe someone gives him an opportunity to go to college and play point.
But see, the thing,
maybe Coach K says, LeBron, come to Duke, and I'll let you play point guard.
See, but my thing is, Magic wasn't 6'8" like LeBron is built like Karl Malone, right? He is. He's built like Karl Malone.
But the athleticism is on another stratosphere.
I know. I just think he would have to. He would have had.
I don't know if
right coach.
I don't think. I would hope. I would hope in my heart of hearts that there wouldn't be an idiot coach to say, "No, son, you're going to stay down in the post."
No,
I would hope that he didn't run
they've seen Magic before, and with them seeing Magic, and you have a more athletic Magic
version,
who's actually a little bit stronger. Like, yeah, they would drool all over that because they seen what Magic did. And I mean, like, Magic was the man to tell Jordan King. To be quite honest, I mean, at one time it was Magic and Jordan and Larry Bird as far as that era.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
That era, would you say you had to be, it was more mental than skill? And this era is more like skill than mental. Not saying that because I think you had to have mental and skill in both eras, but I think in Jordan era you had to be mentally tough because you knew, like, if I drive in here, I'm gonna get smacked. Like I'm gonna get smacked.
That's a great
and that's just a common foul, right? It's just common, right? This era, you driving there, you like check flagrant. Like,
yeah, you might get kicked up for one of them 90s fouls.
Like, you get fights in that era. So what you saying? Because I think that's one of the reasons why I think Jordan is a GOAT is because of his mental toughness. And that's why I think nobody else would actually catch him because of his mental toughness. So when we talk about transcending eras and going from era to era, I think it would be difficult for anybody to transition into Jordan's era, but from this era, because you have to have a mental toughness about you. Because, like, and again, I love Steph, and I believe Steph can play in any era because of his shooting, but they would still beat Steph up. Like they would knock, like running through screens, all that stuff. They would knock him on the ground. You know what I mean? He's small. Like even though Reggie was small, Reggie was taller. But like I'm trying to think of somebody who might not last and who might get gobbled up in Jordan era. Like who
gobbled up.
James Harden wouldn't last.
James Harden would not last in Jordan era. And I love James Harden.
Like LeBron, like as much as people talk about LeBron being a crybaby and everything like that, people, and I'm not saying that's what you were doing, Don, but people question his mental toughness and stuff. I think LeBron is mentally tough enough and mentally tougher than people make him out to be. You know what I mean? I think he can handle, like James Harden, he just mentally weak to me. Like he just mentally weak. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like in a necessarily a negative way, but it really is that he needs to address in himself. I think that's one of the reasons why he also struggled in the playoffs, is because I think he gets into his own head, and sometimes you can see it. He doesn't look as confident when he shoots the ball. That's why I think he will be a guy that could struggle in the 90s or something like that. Because I just don't know if he could handle the continuous beat down physically and the continuous beat down mentally, because they don't talk trash now like they used to talk trash. Not even close.
And listen, those things that running in, getting hit, flailing your arms in the 80s and the 90s,
they just gonna look at you and
laugh. Clothesline, boy, get up. No foul, like, or common foul, like I mean, you know, like it to me it was like legit, like schoolyard basketball, right? You know, playing on blacktop, you go in there, you're gonna get hit. Get up. I'm not just gonna let you come in here and dominate. I'm not gonna let you just come in here and score at will.
Right. That is. I think that era was, like I said, it was I mean, of course I have a bias because, you know, growing up in that era, but just looking back on it and seeing how basketball is now, and like you said, having these conversations. I think that point where they were like, it was definitely a combination of both mental toughness and skill. I'm not going to discredit anyone that played in the 80s and 90s, whether it be Mark Price, Craig Elo, Albert Robertson. You know what I mean? Like, when I think about if they would transition now, like, those guys were still getting buckets. You know what I mean? Craig Elo was a good shooter. Not saying that he would have been
man,
like.
If JJ Redick can get buckets, Mark Price can get buckets. Just keeping it a beam.
Mark Price would
he don't put the
just
ball
keep it in the
put
beam.
the ball on the ground like Mark Price.
Just keep it in the beam.
Mark Price put it on the ground. Mark
I said
Price
he don't.
was,
I said JJ
like
Redick don't put the ball on the ground like Mark Price.
Nah,
Mark Price would get buckets in this era.
But not just thinking about the guys in that era though. Like, I think that some would translate to this era because I think they do have the skill, and I think that skills and the rules have been, because like what James Harden is doing was a walk 20 years ago. So if you give those guys a couple extra steps like you do James Harden, they might be, you know what I mean? Like this is not a carry. I can actually do this. You know what I mean? So that would be fun to watch, to say the least.
Yeah. Y'all got any more for that? We'll move on. Let's move on.
Nah. Other than Jordan always gonna be the GOAT until we get
to 11-foot rims.
Until they make the evolution. Until they make the evolution, bro.
I get about the evolution, but listen, if LeBron didn't do it because of what LeBron's done, he has 4 championships. Like, I think last night he became the first player to have 30,000, 10,000 assists and 9,000 rebounds. And we're not talking about him like as a GOAT.
He's trying to get to 30, 10, and 10.
Nobody
going to do that, man. Nobody going to be able to catch him.
Let me address this. Yes, because of his health and longevity, he's going to be racking up a whole bunch of all-time statistical leaders and breaking all types of first to do this, first to do that. Also, he was one of the youngest players drafted, so he's going to continue to be the first to do this, the youngest to do that. Totals equal longevity. Average is what you bought every year. So when we start talking about numbers, let's talk averages. Let's not talk totals, because totals just mean you played longer than me. That's all that means. You played more games. You played more games than me. But when we start talking about averages, that evens the playing field. And when people start talking about averages, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to bring up LeBron and Jordan averages because I'm going to be honest with you. LeBron's rebounds and assists it's not like they're dwarfing Jordan. Right. It's not like it's 8-4 and 7-3. It's like 8-6. You know, like, yeah, like it isn't that big of a deal. But when you start talking about totals, it's like 9,000 to like 5,000. If people want to bring that up, like, well, dude, he played in a lot more games, so he better have a lot more. But when we start talking about averages, it's like, yeah, man, he averaged not too many more than him. But anyway, NFL, man, big weekend. I think this is making for a great weekend of football, man. Let's get right to it, man. Bengals, Titans. We talked about it. We talked about it the other day, man. I think I said it before. I think the unknown chemistry of the Titans offense is going to play a role in this game. I don't know how big of a role, but I got a feeling it's going to play a role in this game. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals go on the road and get a dub.
So Bengals in the AFC Championship game. I agree 100%. I said it a few shows ago, last show I think, or something like that. The Tennessee Titans scared me at number one, and a lot of things are questionable when I look at that. It's just a lot of question marks. There's too many question marks and too late in the season to have those question marks. Like Dev said, as far as the continuity on the offensive end, the defense has been up and down. So what necessarily is your identity? And normally when you come into the playoffs, you know what your identity is and you stick to that. And that's how you win football games. And we don't know the identity of the Titans, but we do know the identity of the Bengals. And I think they come in there with nothing to lose, everything to gain type attitude, because they won a division, they won a playoff game. That's more than 30 years of monkey off the back. So, I think the Titans can tense up at home. You got a lot of pressure on you. You're number one seed. That's a lot of pressure for Tannehill. So I'm gonna go Bengals.
Listen,
what Vegas say?
I said this, I think 2 shows ago, right? I think I picked the Titans to actually be doing to go and represent the AFC. Before we saw Joe and them, before we saw Josh, before we saw Pat. But I think it's something to be said about it being your time. And the Titans, they've been grinding year in, year out. Like even the year that they actually should have beat Pat, they should have beat Pat. I think they was up 17, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was Pat's time, right? It was Pat's time. I think just the Derrick Henry getting injured with that broken foot early in the season, and then for him to fight back and come back like how he has right now. And if he's a go, you know what their identity is. Like if he's a go, you know exactly what the identity is. I think he's gonna be hungry. I think that they're gonna try to prove something, and I think if Derrick Henry plays, they're gonna beat the Bengals. I know that offense is humming. It goes against everything I like. I think it's gonna happen, but it just feel like it is the Titans' time right now, and I think Derrick Henry gonna come back with something to prove, and I don't think the Bengals have an answer for him.
Am I tripping? But where's Geno Atkins?
Geno Atkins is not even playing. He's a free agent. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was with the Raiders, but I think he got cut.
Oh, really?
So
okay. Maybe I'm like, has it been that many seasons since he was good?
Nah, I think he played last year. Either last.
Nah, he's a free agent. He's a free agent.
He was dominant at one point. And then, like,
you get old, man.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, was it that many seasons ago? No disrespect to my man at all. He did something I ain't do. So
yeah, here's the thing for me with Tennessee. In the playoffs, eventually at some point in time, your quarterback has got to make plays. And I think this is going to be a caveat.
I got an asterisk next to Jimmy G went there and he threw 8 passes, man. So
we won the game, so all that matters.
I think this is going to be a shootout. I think you're going to have to outscore Cincinnati to beat Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Which means Ryan Tannehill is going to have to make throws. And I don't know if he's going to be able to make those throws when you need him to make those throws. And that's why I'm going to pick Joe. I'm picking Joe over Ryan more than I am picking the Bengals.
So it comes down to a quarterback situation for you, the quarterback.
For me, because I feel like you're going to have to score points to beat Cincinnati. I don't think you're going to beat Cincinnati in a slow grind, low-scoring game. I don't think they have those weapons are too much on the outside, and I think Joe's too good of a quarterback, and Joe Mixon he's too good of a pass catcher to not be able to score points. They got weapons, and I feel like you're gonna have to outscore them. You know, I think Vegas had the over under at like 47.5. Yep. That sounds like a shootout to me. That I trust one quarterback, I don't trust the other one, and that's all it comes down to me. Now, if Tennessee has that identity and they can run the ball and be dominant in running the football, then maybe that changes it. Again, if that offense gets humming, you're gonna have to outscore them.
Does a healthy Julio and a healthy AJ Brown change the outcome of the game? Sway y'all any bit?
No, because the quarterback is still the same.
Because Brian Tannehill. Gotcha.
The
valid
spread,
points, man. Valid points right there.
The spread is Tennessee is favored by 3.5. So to me, that says that Vegas calls it an even game, and that Tennessee has the home field advantage because they're at home. But if they was in a neutral field, it'd be a pick'em game. So, not saying Vegas has. Listen, Vegas is Vegas, but I actually want to see like how much, like, is 3.5 too much?
No, I think that's a good number considering the history of the Bengals. You feel me? Because they're still that's how people look at it. They're still the Bengals, and they just won their first playoff game in almost 30 years. So
giving the Bengals 3.5?
No, they gave the
Titans.
So they gave the Titans 3.5 because they're home. So they basically
home.
Like
So I like the number. I think it's a good number.
So they saying it's an even game, yeah.
Pretty much. Flip a coin.
Go either way.
Either way. All right. Now we're gonna say that. We're gonna say that one for last.
We can go in order. We can go in order.
So we'll do the other. We'll do the other second game. Niners Packers. Tamon, that's your squad, so I'll let you lead off.
Why you let me lead? Okay. I was hyped about it. All right. So of course y'all know where my heart is gonna go, right? But I gotta be completely biased when we talking on this show. So analyzing this, let's see. They have Green Bay as a 6-point favorite. So they saying these niggas can beat y'all anywhere. But these guys can beat you anywhere. Is there any way we can mute that up? There's no way we can mute that up.
I just roll with it, man. You all right?
Listen, these guys can beat you anywhere, no matter where we play at. So that means that they would have been a favorite even if they would have come in the same frame. I still think that we are going to win the game. And that is an unbiased opinion. The reason it's said is because we've seen in the last few years that Aaron Rodgers has been shaky when it comes to being at home. And
call it what it is. You man. Stop beating around the bush, man.
I ain't beating around the bush.
Yeah, you beating around the bush, man. You beating around the bush, man. He been stinking it up. Let's be real.
There has been a time to where a 49ers team has came into Lambeau and won a playoff football game. And needless to say, it was the running game. And that's the identity of the 49ers. So if there is any success in the run game, then I think that the Packers won't have enough time to be able to score enough points in order to beat the 49ers. And I have the 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
I think I played them this year early, right? It was a week 11, I think. Sometime week. Y'all wasn't fully healthy.
That's a fact.
And it took an Aaron Rodgers miracle.
He said miracle
to beat y'all. Aaron, this is where it gets tough for me, right? Because I'm gonna say this: if it was the NFC Championship game, no doubt, hands down, 100% 49ers win because Aaron Rodgers choked in the NFC Championship game. That's what he do. But I still think I'm gonna pick y'all with one caveat. If Jimmy Garoppolo throw more than 17 times.
Oh, 17.
If he throw more than 17 times, man, y'all gonna lose. But if y'all run the ball 40 times.
40?
40. Y'all need 40 times. Y'all will win.
I was saying 30.
30?
Yeah.
And Jimmy threw that thing like 20 times. He gonna try to get that game away.
No, he has a history of trying to do so. That's what it seems. He definitely threw that game away in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
He tried to get a game away last week. Jimmy be trying to get back to his rock star life, man. He like, man, I'm tired of playing football, man.
I've already played 18. Here's the thing with me for this game. It comes down to really the 49ers defense versus the Packer offense. I could care less what y'all do on offense. Can y'all get the stops that y'all need to get early? Get it done early in the game. Get those 3 and outs early in the game. Don't let that Packer offense get into a rhythm. Don't let Aaron Rodgers get into a rhythm. And I think y'all have the pass rush that will neutralize the Packer passing game. Because Aaron Rodgers' targets outside of Devontae Adams aren't consistent. Mm-hmm. So unless you create that pressure and he's got to get to hot reads, he's got to check the ball down, get the ball out of his hands fast. And I think that's how the Niners win the game. I don't think I don't want to put it in Jimmy G's hands. I don't even want to get into that because I don't think Jimmy G is that bad. I just think he misses throws that he should make way too often.
There it is.
Way too often. It's not that he's bad. I don't even think that his decision making is that it's questionable that as much as other people make it. It just be the fact that, man, you miss a lot of layups, bro. Like really,
he be missing
layups at the wrong time, bro. He
give me Romo type stuff. Like Romo had like 350 in the fourth, and like he had like one bad play at the wrong time. It's like, why did you do that, Tony? Like,
and it erased everything he just did for the other part of the game. So, and that's I think that part of it will be irrelevant because I think y'all can create turnovers with your defense because of the pass rush. And that's why I'm gonna go with the Niners. I just think that this was a bad matchup for the Packers. Personally, I don't think this was the right matchup. Like the Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers would have welcomed that. They got a good pass rush. They got a good pass rush, but the guys on the back end, they want you to throw the ball.
They had a double move Trayvon Diggs to death.
You know what I mean? The 49ers secondary isn't great, but at least they're disciplined and their assignments. So to me, that is the reason. That pass rush, along with the run game, is going to be enough to neutralize the Packers. And I think they go in the Lambeau and get a dub.
Now, if that happens, I will be cheering for the Rams.
Go ahead then.
You'll be cheering for what?
We was going in it. Come on, we was going right into that. So let's go. We was going right into the Rams Buccaneers. Where you going to?
Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about the Rams. And then I'm gonna talk about the point you just made, which you just said.
Listen,
Nah, man,
I said I'm gonna be cheering for the Rams. I didn't say I was gonna pick them.
They own the Rams.
You said they own the Rams?
No. They own the Rams. I don't know why.
I don't know
why. Yeah, I don't know why.
The Rams be giving out layups.
No, they don't.
They was up 17-0 at last game.
But somehow they squandered it. But somehow they squandered it. And I mean, like, it seemed like that happened every time, though, right? Like, it just seemed like they can't get out of their own way against the 49ers. So,
but the Rams,
hey,
but the Rams will get past the Bucks first.
Yes, easy. I'm gonna say this. I think they're gonna get past the Bucks easy, bro.
I like
easy.
This. Wow. I like this. So
I think they're gonna get past the Bucks easy. Because listen, they played earlier this year. It was easy, and they was at full strength. They was at full strength when they played the Bucks earlier this year, and it was easy for the Rams.
So that wasn't part of the Super Bowl hangover?
I don't give a freak what kind of Super Bowl hangover it was. It was easy for them. They didn't have Odell Beckham. They didn't have Von Miller. I don't care what kind of hangover it was. Listen,
did they have Sony?
They don't got no Chris Godwin. They ain't got no Antonio Brown. Like,
man, they still got 12.
They might have 12. They had 12 when they got smacked earlier this year.
Remember when the Chiefs smacked 12 earlier in the season? He still went on with the Super Bowl. Like, man, we got too many examples of when the regular season don't matter when it comes to
Patrick playing Mahomes. 12. They had no offensive line. It was us three out there blocking for Patrick Mahomes and two other people off the street. Come on, man.
That ain't 12 fault.
It ain't 12 fault. So listen, he gonna get that same treatment. He gonna get that same treatment on Sunday, especially if Tristan Wirfs is out, and if his center is out.
Okay, so you just made a great point that like threw me all off. So yeah, because I seen the way
I just think it's Matt Stafford's time.
You see the way the game changed.
The game changed when went out.
And Ryan Kerrigan was killing that tackle.
Yeah. So, oh man.
I just think it's the Rams' time.
Gosh, is he? So wait a minute now. That I know that may seem crazy. Like, yo, why is a guard gonna change your pick as far as this? But what? Okay, I got to find out if this man playing or not, yo. He's a long shot.
It don't matter if he play.
I hear you.
No, I am picking against 12.
Oh, you're gonna pick against 12? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the Rams got over their mental hurdle last week. All the things that was the team. Yeah, that was. I don't care who they played. That was the team that you were expecting to see pretty much all year. They were dominant.
Yeah, and
did
Matt Stafford have dominant? A turnover? I don't think Matt Stafford had a turnover.
I don't think he had one either. They were
dominant, and he didn't have to be a hero.
They were dominant.
You said that.
So that carries into next week. And one thing, defense travels. And again, I said it in the last show or whatever show it was. When you have the best defensive lineman and the best cornerback, your defense is supposed to be dominant, and that's what it was. And I've been waiting for it. I've been looking for it, and I finally seen it. And 12 don't like people in his face.
If I'm not mistaken, they got the best pass rusher since he entered into the NFL. I think Von Miller has had more sacks since he entered into the NFL.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. And 12 don't like people in his face, and he don't like getting touched.
He don't.
And he's gonna get touched up. You could see him bowling last week, but they was up. So he didn't really get too crazy with it, but you could see it starting to fester in him. Like he was getting frustrated because he was done. But then after they scored, he wanted to go back out. He was getting frustrated. Next, he's gonna have his hands full on Sunday.
So
him and Aaron Donald gonna get really acquainted.
So Tristan Wirfs plays the right guard. Left guard. Tackle. He plays tackle. Right tackle. He's not the left tackle.
Yeah, he's the left tackle. Tristan Wirfs plays left tackle.
Okay.
Jensen is their center.
No, he's right tackle. Right tackle.
Okay, right tackle. Yeah, you're right. Right tackle.
And it does make a difference because that left tackle gets a whole lot of more money because you protecting that blind side.
But it don't matter because you know where they're going to line Aaron Donald up at?
Yeah, I know.
Wherever,
that's where I was going.
Anywhere.
That's where I was going. And I know, like, it may seem minuscule, but to me, you got to keep Tom Brady clean in order for him to do what he does. And yes, you have a great Rams defense, but when you have one of the best right tackles in the league out and not protecting Tom Brady, and you have Aaron Donald on the other side, I did just change my pick within the last 2 minutes. My pick now is the Rams. And I was going to cheer for them in the first place if we win. Now, if we lose, then I'm like, I just want to watch a game. But if we win on Saturday, I will be cheering for the Rams through and through. So, and my pick is going to go to the Rams. So, yeah. Rams
and
going to the NFC Championship game.
And now for the final game.
Oh, we playing the Super Bowl, huh? Super Bowl Sunday.
The Chiefs.
It might pan out that way. Listen, it's looking more probable by the moment, man. Listen.
Chiefs Bills, who you got?
This is
I got rock with my guys, man.
This is the one.
I'm going with the Bills. I'm going with Josh. Their defense is legit, and that offense is legit. I think that the Chiefs' offense can be shaky at times, and that's what I say. I think the Chiefs' offense. I think the Patriots' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense, and we saw what happened to the Patriots' defense last week.
I don't think the Patriots' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense.
You think?
I know the Patriots' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense.
The Chiefs' front four is better than the Patriots' front four. Can you at least give us that? Come on.
Okay. One's a 77, the other one's a 74.
Who that? Chris Jones.
Names. You're giving
Chris
me
Jones.
names. We're not seeing production outside of Chris Jones.
Right. Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram. Okay.
And sometimes a lot of this stuff is because Chris Jones is getting so much attention that those guys are able to make plays.
I was just saying better than the Patriots. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I will argue that.
I'm saying the defense as a total, the defense as a collective unit is better than the Chiefs defense. Like Biff said, the Chiefs have some names. They have names, but those names haven't lived up to it all year. And listen, Chris Jones, he can rush the passer, but if Josh Allen getting that, if your corner is getting whooped in like 5 seconds, like 2 seconds,
don't matter.
There's nothing you can do.
Hey, I'm gonna go a throwback. How my man Boomer used to say it. They circling the wagon. Who's gonna be circling the wagon on Sunday? As they're gonna come out on top, I think. I just think just overall the Bills are a better team, and we all know, or in my opinion, the matchup is going to be the Bills defense versus Patrick Mahomes. That's where it's won, and I think that the Bills have names and they have talent, and
they have a level of being pissed off.
Yep.
They have the bad taste still in their mouth from a year ago.
They wanted them this year. They beat them earlier this year. But they wanted them in the playoffs. Like, that's what they want.
Defense travels. Josh Allen can have a bad game. But that defense is going to travel. And that defense is going to bring it. Because they're the ones that's probably the most pissed off.
And what Biff just said, right? Like what Biff just said. If Josh Allen have a bad game, can the Bills still win? Yes.
Yeah.
If Pat Mahomes have a bad game, can the Chiefs still win?
Not a shot.
Nah.
Not unless the Honey Badger have a crazy game. That's about it.
So I got the Bills and the Bengals. This sounds like the 90s. I got the Bills and the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, and the 49ers and the Rams.
I think we all.
Yeah, this really sounds like the 1991 Boomer Esiason versus Jim Kelly and Joe Montana versus Jim Everett. The Rams had a decent team in like the early '90s. I think they actually went to an NFC Championship game back then.
They may have. All right.
Wow.
So
wait a minute. We all got that.
Yeah, we all picked the same.
Yeah.
We all picked the same thing. It was weird, right?
No, we didn't. I picked the Titans.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Down the outlier.
We all not on the same page.
Down the outlier. You picked the Titans. All right, fellas. Final thoughts. What's up?
Niner gang. Let's go. Niner gang on Sunday. Rams on. The Niners on Saturday. Rams on Sunday. That's my final thought.
My final thought is
and Jordan is the GOAT. I'm sorry.
Chase your passions, not money. Like, do what you love doing.
Oh, you
do
what
you love doing. Chase your money, not. Don't chase money. Chase your passions.
Oh, you went deep on this.
Sorry. I was just thinking about it.
Okay.
I was just thinking about
it. No. It just brings back to all the authenticity of just how we started off everything. That's how you used to go. you boy, that is all right. We back in the mix. We done got some inspiration bars from my man Dom, man. This is love.
The Dummy Llama's back, huh?
Yes, the Dummy Llama is back. Yes, he is.
I got it. Got to.
Yes, he is.
My final thought, man. I just want to shout out to Rachel Bolkovic, who became the first female manager in MLB. She's going to be the manager of their AAA affiliate. I think it's the Tampa Terrans or something like that. I don't know, but whatever. She's gonna be the first female manager, and it don't matter what team she manages. It just mattered that they gave her the opportunity.
First, right.
She was given the opportunity. I know that a lot of women are involved in baseball. Some transition from softball to baseball. Some just stick with baseball all the way through. But it's good to see that they are given the opportunity that they have worked so hard for and have earned. So shout out to her. I wish her the best of luck, even though I'm not a Yankee fan. But until next time, speak on it. Peace.
Speak on it, yo.